Are people really out there to disrupt your magic? Do people really have that power?
If you would like to learn about fairy folklore, delve into modern fairy faith spirituality, and explore fun and fanciful fairy-themed events, please subscribe to Fairy Fortunes for new videos every Friday.
Hello, my fair friends. I'm Ruby Ruse, and today on Fairy Fortunes, I'd like to do a follow-up video to my video that I made on the Witch's Pyramid and the Edict to Keep Silent. When I posted that video on social media, I had a bit of commentary suggesting that people need to keep silent because there are people out in the world that want to cause them harm, that people want to block other people's magic and do curses and hexes and all this other things. Now, I believe that I have been the victim of a curse not once, but actually 3 times. In 2 of those cases, they were actually done by people that wouldn't necessarily consider themselves as magicians or witches. One person was completely untrained. Another person was someone from my own family, so they have a lot of the same family traditions that I have in magic. And finally, one of the curses was done by someone I would consider an expert in magic, and actually that person who was an expert in magic, their curse was the easiest to break. I made a video about curses and how to break them. Breaking a curse is actually a very simple process. It's not necessarily easy, though. It does take some time, but it is a simple process, and all curses can be broken. And I personally believe that you do not need anyone else's assistance to break a curse that's been cast on you. That said, curses I also believe are the easiest form of magic to do, simply because I hate you is an exceptionally effective curse. You don't need any magical background to do that, and in fact, a 3-year-old child can say, "I hate you," and it can have devastating effects on certain people, but not all people. It depends on the context of the situation and the connection that you have to that person. If you think about it, we're all consumed with our own interests. We're not thinking really about other people, we're thinking about ourselves. You know, when we go into, for example, a job interview, the questions that are in our heads are, oh, do they like me? They don't like me. Oh my God, I'm so terrible. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have said that. Like, all of our thought processes are on ourselves and our own behavior. We're not really thinking about the other person. And that's how it is magically too. Just because a person knows how to use magic doesn't mean that that's going to change that very common human behavior. We think about ourselves more than we think about other people. So when I talked about keeping silent in magic, the reason that it's important to kind of keep your projects close to your chest, the reason that you want to kind of let them germinate like seeds within you, is because you don't want to trick your mind into saying, oh, well, I have these great plans, and you share your great plans. But instead of manifesting those plans, you've just shared the greatness of the plans, and all of your friends and people that are interested in you go, oh yes, that's such a great idea. I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause. So you get that endorphin rush of everyone applauding you for your great idea, and then you don't have to manifest it because you've already received the accolades that you want. So if you hold on to your plans and you germinate them until they manifest, now you're getting the applause for the manifestation of that plan and not just the fact that you had a great idea. Now, of course, there are those people in our lives where if we talk about things that we're working on, because that's, you do want to share ideas with people for various reasons. You want to seek advice, you want to celebrate steps in the process. There are many reasons why you want to share things with people. However, there are people in our lives that project. They project their own jealousy, they project their own fears, and that's really what it's about. It's like you'll say, I'm thinking about opening this brand new business. What do you think about that? What is your advice? And somebody might say, oh, I don't know about that. Like, have you considered like what you're going to do about insurance and these things? And the person may have a valid point, but maybe they're the ones that are afraid of insurance. Maybe they're the ones that are afraid of failure. But once again, it's not about you, it's about them. They're projecting their own fears onto you. It's not that they are intentionally out there to cause you harm and to seek your failure. They're just scared for themselves, and maybe they have regrets, is maybe they too at one point had a great idea for a successful business that they wanted to have, but they stopped themselves, and so they're sharing now their own fear with you. This is more of what you're going to encounter with people infringing upon magical plans and even mundane plans that you have in the world. They're not really out there to cause you harm. They're just not. Another hard truth that we have to look at is that we're not always everybody's cup of tea. There's going to be people that we encounter on our life journey that they just don't like us. You know, maybe they don't like people with red hair. Maybe they don't like outspoken people. Maybe they don't like people who laugh loudly. Like, there are so many things that trigger emotions in other people. And it's not our fault, and it might not necessarily be their fault. They may not even be able to fully understand why they don't like you. They just don't. It just is. We don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. We don't have to please everybody. That's an impossible scenario. But the point of this video is, do not give away your power to other people. If you really want something to manifest, whether that is magical or mundane, do not use other people as your excuse from getting what you desire. An author and motivational speaker that I really enjoy, his name is Lieutenant David Grossman. He wrote a poem based on an experience that he had with one of his grandchildren. They were going to be walking in the forest, and his grandchild was afraid of what they might encounter in the forest, what they might encounter in the darkness. And he said to his grandchild, "We are the scariest thing in the forest. You are powerful. You are capable of greatness. Don't give your greatness to other people. If your plans fail, use the failure as information to propel you into the next phase of your endeavor. Analyze what went wrong and correct your course." And here's another thing. If you fail, you may find out that what you want is now different from what you wanted then. A failure can course correct you. But even if someone causes you to stumble, now you still have information, because now you know to avoid that person. I did make a whole video on how to dismantle curses. But the very simplified thing about dismantling curses are launched at you when someone feels that you have wronged them, that you have hurt them. So in order to dismantle a curse, you have to consider for yourself, do I owe someone an apology? Do I need to make amends for my actions? And do I owe restitution? Maybe you don't need to do any of those things, in which case You need to forgive yourself for being triggered and move on. You are capable of greatness. You are the scariest thing in the forest. And people are more concerned about themselves than they are with you. So go forth and manifest those plans. And with that, my fair friends, have a magical day.